What up, y'all? This is Zoo Nation, aka Savage Armor June Giraffe, coming at you with a prediction list and also a kind of sort of wish list, but not really. So, Bushiroad announced that on Wednesday, April the 17th, that they're going to come out with a restriction list, an update for it. And in my honest opinion, I was like, there's a lot of stuff wrong with that. But the interesting thing about it is that it's supposed to be for the premium format slash G format. I don't even know if I really should count the G format because nobody's gonna fucking play the G format. But anyway, man. So here's the thing. Um, Before I start this prediction list, I want to go over what happened in the last restriction list that we got. So the last restriction list that we got, everybody thought that something was going to get hit, but in reality, it turned out that something came off, which was Jewel Knight Sword Me. Sword Me, Sword Me. Okay, I'm gonna just call him Sword Me, because I think that's a lot easier. But anyway, um, the thing about him is that everybody decided to buy it out. And in my honest opinion, I was like, why are we gonna buy out Sword of Me? Yeah, he get to be used in every other Royal Paladin deck, but isn't it way too late for him to be used in Alt Mile and Blasters? There'll be really no point of really doing so. So honestly, I don't know why that's the buyout. The more thing that makes it weird is that I never heard of anybody trying to bring back Saint Guard, and that was the thing that contributed to it. So again, I'm very lost. But it turned out that it was a flop, and eventually everybody just wasted money if you think about it. But anyway, so to start off this prediction list, I want to go over stuff that can be put off the restriction list altogether. Two cards that comes in mind is Flash Ripple Otis and Mick the Ghosty and Friends. Now, Flash Ripple Otis, in my honest opinion, ripples aren't really going to do anything. Even if you put Otis at 4, it's not going to do nothing. Yeah, the grade 2 rush game was actually pretty stupid back in the day, but we have Sea Breeze now. We have cards that punishes for you going grade 2 game and grade 2 rush. And in my honest opinion, yeah, it was a very stupid combo. It's just not going to work, in my honest opinion. So, yeah, take that. It's not going to work. So I don't see a point of really putting Otis at keeping Otis at 2, where you can just put it at 4 and just get it over with. Otis, in my honest opinion, when it comes to restriction lists, is just taking up space. At the same time, I do think that even if you were to play like an early grade 2 rush game before you stride, it's not really going to work because right now, I feel like the format is not only too fast, but in my honest opinion, and I'm just putting a disclaimer out there because I'm not 100% sure, Blasters is the best grade 2 rush game that we currently have. And I don't know if that's actually true or not, but in my personal experience, I feel like that they have the best grade 2 rush game because if you critical them, they have the Lou, Flogo, and the Blaster Blade in hand. Yeah, you're going to see that combo very early. But anyway, um, outside of that, I feel like the only other card I can see come off the restriction list is Mick and Ghost of Friends. But the problem with that, in my honest opinion, I feel like it should be errata. The main issue was that you used the G guard to call out Negro Lazy. Negro Lazy calls out Mick. Mick gives your Vanguard 10k plus, and your Vanguard gets a 10k plus with no triggers whatsoever, damage triggers whatsoever, and it basically makes it very hard to hit it. Well, in my honest opinion, I feel like when it comes to something like that, they should make it to where Mick only gives a 10k on your turn instead of the any other player's turn. So basically, it makes it so that even if you were to try out the same combo, your Vanguard's not going to get the 10k plus. It may go back to the deck, yeah, but it's not going to get the 10k plus, in my honest opinion. If it makes it just a turn player only ability, then in my honest opinion, it makes it a lot more simpler, and we can take Mick off the list and possibly see Grand Blue not really be tier one like it used to be, but back into the competitive scene, in my honest opinion. Outside of that, the only other card I thought could possibly come out the list was like Refros at 2, but no Seal Geese exists, so hell no. Anyway, now on to the cards that I do think that's going to get hit. I have about three and a half. So I'm gonna start with the half first. Me personally, I think that Bushiroad is going to start hitting stand triggers with effects, and this is because stand triggers are no longer going to exist in standard format. That's understandable, but I do feel like that over time that because you have that, because you have the fact that you can make multiple front row columns and stuff like that, is going to make it to where the stand triggers are going to become hella ridiculous. Especially now that we also have the front triggers that gives everybody a 10k plus. So yeah, that's the thing. In my honest opinion, I feel like because of this, stand triggers is going to start getting hit one by one, if not all together. I'm not going to say that they're going to take out stand triggers completely, but just mainly the ones with very good effects. So I can definitely see that happening. Next, I could see them hitting Lou. Now, I mentioned Lou earlier because, of course, I was using World Pounds as an example. Because at first I was like, well, maybe they'll hit Flogo. But then after thinking about it, I was like, nah. I think because Lou searches not only searches out for Flogo, it also searches out for other stuff. Personally, I feel like that they'll hit Lou if anything. They'll probably keep Flogo in for a while, but then eventually hit Lou. And the only reason why I say they're going to hit Lou is because World Paladins is going to be one of the very first clans to get support in the standard format, which means they're going to get all of the standard priority based stuff when it comes to the premium format, especially when it first starts. So, in my honest opinion, I think because everything is all blaster based in the standard format, which will dramatically boost blasters than they already have, I personally think that they're going to hit Lou to 1. Now, that's just me. I highly doubt they'll do it. Like I said, originally this was supposed to be Flogo, but at the same time, I do think that Lou will be like another possibility. Next, I do have Heritage. Heritage might actually get possibly banned. We might actually see like our very first banned card. But hear me out. Um, Gear Chronicles as a whole isn't necessarily completely bad. It's very consistent. Yes, it does pressure very, very good. Yes, but I feel like the last straw is Heritage because it gives you an extra turn, and not only that, you get to turbo the motherfucker. And I think, in my honest opinion, the fact that you can turbo Heritage is a huge, huge issue. And I think because of that, I feel like that Heritage will either get hit or basically Heritage, in my honest opinion, it should get errata. I feel like if we're to make it fair so that it makes everything very even, we should make Heritage be errata. And the reason why it's being turboed is because you have the heal triggers, of course, that are ZTB, and you basically get two of them out, especially if you have two heal triggers in hand. And 90% of the time, that's always going to happen because you're always searching out for stuff with I can't think of what the grade 2 card is that always searches out for stuff. But you're always searching stuff out with him, and then at the same time, you get to use PG. I mean, not PGs, but you get to use everything else. You already at GB2 with like two ZTBs up. 90% of the time, you're always going to be at Heritage on Stride Turn 2. And it makes it worse because your opponent is not always going to be on Stride Turn 2. And let's be real, there are very, very few decks that has a very good Stride Turn 1 because 90% of the decks in the game kills on stride turn 2. And the fact that you're denying people a stride turn 2, it makes Heritage all the more or less the more all less more broken, in my honest opinion. So with that being said, I feel like if they were to errata Heritage, we should make it to where all four of the Zodiac Time Beasts has different names, which means you at least make it the playing field a lot more evenly, and at the same time, it makes it to where you get to keep Heritage and still use Heritage without him being banned. So that's just me, in my honest opinion. Last but not least, we have Rene because Rene, a lot of people want him at 2, and I can understand. 15k boosted dominated rear guard with a built-in crit is fucking stupid, in my honest opinion. It's fucking stupid. And I can understand the frustration in a lot of players when it comes to going against that card, especially if like you can't really put any low level units out at the same time. It makes it even a lot more difficult to really use. Not only that, Dominate has 30k columns on their battle phase. So again, why? Oh man, it's ridiculous in my honest opinion. And it's probably one of the hardest things to guard too, because not every deck has hand advantage for one. Two, not every deck can defend as well as certain other decks, so it makes sense. And three, you're denying them the auto abilities, so no abilities could go off when they hit the field. Not to mention that, in my honest opinion, it gets over resist units as well, so that's something. And you get to call over stuff if your opponent has a full field, so that's another thing. And you're ripping stuff from your opponent's hand too, so that's another thing. But man, in my honest opinion, the reason why I don't think that Rene is going to get hit at 2 is because it's legitimately the only finisher that Nubatama has. All of their other finishers like Suka Murakan and their GB8 and a couple of other cards here and there, and Mugen Lord and a couple of other cards here and there, they only work when your opponent's at 4 or 5 damage. But if your opponent was like at 2 damage because they're playing oh so well defense, bam, 15k plus critical to their face twice. They probably might take one, they probably might not take one. But basically, that's how it works. So, in my honest opinion, I do think that Rene might get hit to 2, but at the same time, I think this is the more unlikely thing to happen because, again, it's their only good call. It's their only good stride. But with that being said, I feel like that's my predictions and everything like that. Let me know what everybody thinks in the comment section or whatever. But for now, this is Savage Armadillo Giraffe slash Mr. Zoo Nation signing out.